guys, I'm Sydney.
And I'm Zach.
And you're watching the Midnight Jamboree.
And it's Friday the 13th. That means it's the spookiest almost day of the year, but we're in October, so it's really close to the spookiest day of the year.
Like second spookiest?
Second spookiest,
like
I would say.
Spooky and a half?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're coming up on Halloween extremely quickly. There are very few nights left until Halloween, but Friday the 13th is always a great night to celebrate, regardless of when the last one was, when the next one is. But this one, being in October, is a pretty big deal.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, we're in that spooky season, and Friday the 13th is like naturally a spooky day.
Yes.
So, I mean, what better to do on Friday the 13th than talk about superstitions?
That's a very good point. So we compiled a list of some of our favorite superstitions, 13 of our favorite superstitions to be exact. You want to start us off?
Of course. So this first one is going to be one that obviously everybody knows. It's one that you learn from a little kid, and that is broken mirrors. This one's especially spooky because it has a little bit more of a paranormal following behind it. Mirrors are believed to be something that you can trap spirits and supernatural beings in. And also, I mean, there's scary things like Candyman and Bloody Mary when you're a kid and you go into the bathroom with the lights turned off and you quote those things over and over again and they pop out of the mirror at you.
Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls.
Oh my god. So, of course, you know, when you break a mirror, you're releasing whatever spirit's caught in there. And it's believed that if you break a mirror, you get 7 years of bad luck. And that bad luck is that spirit that you released following you around for those 7 years and tormenting you.
So the next one is one of my favorite ones, obviously. And it involves a certain spooky feline, the black cat. And black cats crossing your path ends up in bad luck. I don't choose to really see it like that. I think black cats are more of a good luck charm, at least in my opinion, even though they kind of give off that eerie, kind of creepy vibe. It's those eyes.
It is those eyes. I mean,
those yellow, piercing eyes.
That almost look like they're glowing.
Yeah, especially in the dark.
Well, especially when they're, you know, following you over from your car.
Yeah.
One of our neighbors has a black cat that likes to hang out outside, and it likes to follow us home sometimes.
Actually, it wants to live with us.
It does. It knows that this is the spooky apartment, and it wants to come live with us.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't really believe in the black cat crossing your path is bad luck. That is more of an older tradition because, you know, just the embodiment of the devil, being a familiar and kind of things like that. There's a lot of kind of mythology behind cats, and I can completely understand why somebody would be kind of a little superstitious about cats, but I don't know. I'm not. I love black cats.
I think they're beautiful. I mean, Thackeray Binks, Salem Saberhagen. How can you not like black cats?
You gotta love black cats.
All right, and number 3 is one that is a little bit more on the obscure side, and that is multiples of 3. That's, you know, the old saying that bad luck comes in threes. That, you know, any numbers in sequential order, like 666 or 777, can have a good or bad reaction on your life. I mean, not only is 666 the devil's number, but it's also multiples of 3 in sequential order of 3. So it's one of those scary things. And I remember when I was growing up, one of my grandparents grew up in Russia, and when she came over here, she was very superstitious about things like that, especially the multiples of 3. And she used to tell me that if you sneeze 3 times in a row, and nobody says, you know, God bless you, or Gesundheit or whatever, that the devil's going to take your soul.
That's terrifying.
It is terrifying. And that's always something, even to this day, if I sneeze once, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I sneeze twice, and then I start freaking out. If nobody says God bless you to me, I'm like, sit there and I'm trying to like suck in that third sneeze. I mean, it's scary.
It is. And it kind of gets into the thing with celebrities as well. A lot of people believe celebrity deaths come in threes. I mean, for the most part, that's pretty accurate. But then again, there's always that kind of one celebrity, like, oh, they were kind of a celebrity and they died, and oh, you know, here and there, blah, blah, blah. But bad luck comes in threes. I truly do believe that.
But it also, in my opinion, it's kind of one of those things where, like you said, celebrity dies, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, there's one, where's the other 2?
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're almost jinxing it. But
I mean, it kind of are, because it's been such a tradition forever.
An unfortunate tradition, but a tradition nonetheless.
So the next one is one I really don't believe in at all. It's more kind of one of those things I think your parents kind of tell you so you don't get in trouble and do something stupid. And that's don't open up an umbrella indoors, because it just makes a mess. You're going to break something. If it's wet still, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have all these issues, whatever. Just don't open up an umbrella inside. And I don't know. I feel it's kind of stupid. I don't think you should really be superstitious about that. I do just more think it's one of those things your parents tell you to not break something.
That's how I feel about it too. That, and it's really hard to get it back out the door when it's open.
It is. Yeah, I mean, the umbrella most of the time is too wide to go through the door. So why even try and open it inside?
Because it's wet outside.
See, that's the whole thing. If you bring in an umbrella and it's wet outside, you just going to leave it like that? No, you're going to open it up and let it dry by your front door. I don't know. That's just me.
All right, so this is one that I personally am very, very cautious of, and has gotten me in trouble at restaurants a few times on accident. I didn't mean to do it on purpose. And that's the superstition that if you spill salt, you pick up the salt that you spilled with your right hand, throw it over your left shoulder, otherwise you're going to be cursed. I don't know where this one came from in my life. I don't know why this one affects me so much, but you've seen it, where I'll accidentally knock over salt and I'll pick it all up and I'll throw it. And, I've done it in restaurants before where there's somebody sitting behind me.
You don't have to throw it. I think as long as you put it over your shoulder, you can kind of sprinkle
I've gotten a lot better about doing that. But,
so otherwise, like, whoo!
But now it's really nice because most restaurants have salt grinders. Mm-hmm. We have a salt grinder here for that exact reason. So it's been, something that I'm slowly getting over, because you knock over a salt grinder and it's not going to spill salt everywhere. But, salt is one of those things where it wards off evil. So
does a lot of things. Seasons my popcorn. Seasons my everything.
Seasons all my food.
Seasons greetings. It's everything. But throwing salt over your shoulder isn't good because it's salt.
Help.
Alright, the next one is one I truly believe in. It's one I kind of follow, and I don't go out of my way to kind of participate in this one, but it does happen. Change. Coins, pennies specifically. If they're heads or tails, it really depends upon kind of the good luck. See a penny, pick it up, all day long you'll have good luck. Except if it's tail side up, then it's bad luck, so don't pick it up. I truly believe that. And I feel that way kind of about change in general. I feel that if it's tail side up, it's really not good to pick it up. And it kind of has to do a lot with, almost the mythology behind coins and all the supernatural properties behind them as well. But I really do feel like coins can distribute good and bad luck. So if you see a penny, quarter, dime, nickel, whatever, if it's heads up, you're good to go. If it's tails up, don't touch it. Leave it where you found it.
No, I have a question for you. If you found a $20 bill face down?
That's just good luck regardless. It doesn't matter. It's $20.
There you
just
go.
take the money. Money is different. It's paper. That ain't coin.
Paper's not bad. It's metal.
Paper's not bad. Exactly.
Alrighty, so the next one is one that's just honestly common sense. And that's don't walk under a ladder or you'll cause yourself to have bad luck.
I think this kind of goes along with the umbrella thing, that this is something your parents told you just so you didn't do something stupid. Because you're walking under a ladder, most of the time that ladder is not going to be properly stated there. It's going to be just one of those one-way up ladders. Somebody's going to be working on something. You hit that ladder because you walked under it like an idiot. That person gets hurt.
Or you get hurt because they drop something on you.
You both get hurt. It's just a problem because you're stupid walking under a ladder.
I don't ever see this outside of movies and cartoons where you just see somebody randomly on the side of the road and they're standing on a ladder. I've never seen that in my everyday life where I'm walking down the road and I'm just like, hey, there's somebody working on a ladder. Let me go walk under that.
Most of the time they're working on a ladder. It's one of those ladders that kind of expands out like that, like a step ladder kind of thing.
Yeah.
You don't really see the kind of one wooden ladder thing anymore where somebody's putting it up there. You just don't see that.
I also grew up in the suburbs, so I didn't really have any kind of, high-rise buildings with people doing stuff like that. So,
and even then, we were born later enough in life that I think that people kind of understood, hey, for safety, why don't we kind of, two-sided? That's safe, right? Because you got the balance on there. And they were like, yeah, that's a really good idea. But yeah, no, just ladders. I don't buy into it. I don't think they're bad luck. I just think you could be stupid and cause somebody else to have very bad luck. So the next one's kind of interesting. It's one I've actually never heard of before, but I can totally buy it. Whistling inside is bad luck because you're almost inviting in a spirit by whistling. I can understand that. I don't know if I truly believe that because a lot of people whistle and a lot of people whistle inside. And it's kind of one of those things, there's a lot of mythology about ways that you could bring ghosts into your house. Obviously, all terrifying. Don't do it. That's not good juju. It's just not. But doing, whistling inside, that kind of is interesting because you're just whistling. You're just making a call. You're kind of just doing that. So it's a little terrifying to me to kind of think about that.
I never realized how much I whistle inside the house until we started talking about this. And I actually caught myself whistling this morning and instantly thought of that and freaked myself out and stopped myself from doing it because I was just like, nope, no. Like, it freaks me out to do that now because I never knew that. It was also like when we were doing this, you were telling me about how if you yawn, you cover your mouth so that a ghost can't count your teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, I always just cover my mouth out of instinct from yawning because it's the polite thing to do. But now I'm afraid to yawn at all around you because you're going to be like, oh.
Well, it's not just that. It's also that a ghost can peer in and count your teeth, obviously. What some believe your soul can slip out when you're yawning and a ghost can slip in.
Terrifying.
If that happens, you will sicken and die. Vincent Price taught me that. Vincent Price taught me a lot. It's terrifying.
The more you know.
Pretty much.
So the next one is one that actually Zach didn't know, but is one that my stepmom's parents both were very, very adamant about, and that's not cheersing with water. Anytime that we do any type of celebration or any type of holiday at my parents' house, we always do a, cheers amongst everybody on the table. And if you're underage, you don't have just water or milk or whatever in your cup, you have sparkling cider because that's the closest thing to a spirit that you can have. And even if you're not drinking, it's always a tradition in that house to have at least one sip of wine in your glass so that you can cheers everybody at the table. Because it's believed that if you are cheersing with something that isn't a spirit in your glass or something similar to a spirit, you're causing the negative effect of whatever you're cheersing for. So if you're cheersing for, say Thanksgiving, that you're grateful for everybody at the table and that you hope everybody has a great year.
They will not.
They won't. It's the same thing as cheersing with an empty glass.
I knew about the empty glass. That was always a really big thing to not kind of do a cheers with an empty glass. I didn't know that you couldn't even have water in there. But yeah, I mean, if it's kind of anything like that, just don't do it. And I totally get that. I think cheersing with an empty glass really does signify the exact opposite of what you want because there's nothing there to cheers with. So the next one is one that I've actually been doing for years, and I didn't know it was actually anything until we started making this list.
And I didn't even know that he did this until we started making this list.
I do this all the time. Anytime I pass a graveyard, I cover my thumbs. I don't know why. I don't know if I maybe read this years ago in something kind of got in my head. I don't know if someone told me this, but every time I pass a graveyard, I always kind of tuck my thumbs into my fists like this. Even when I'm driving, just kind of tuck them in there like that. Don't show my thumbnails. I don't know why. I don't really know where this superstition comes from, but it's bad luck to kind of show your thumbs when you're passing a graveyard. And I do that all the time. And I never kind of knew exactly why. And it's kind of scary that I didn't know that that was a thing to do, but it was something I did anyway.
I mean, that's like the same thing where my brothers and I, we were always taught that you hold your breath when you're going past the entrance of a graveyard.
Yeah.
Once you're over the threshold of that entrance, if you're going in there, then you're fine. But you always want to hold your breath when you're going over the threshold or driving past it. And there's a very large graveyard that we drive past at least once a week. So I'm always, holding my breath. I know that sometimes you hold your breath, but I've never noticed that you do the thumb thing because I never knew that was a thing.
I didn't either, but now I do. And now I know why I do that.
But moving on from that into our next one is holding your breath again, but in a tunnel.
Yeah, I do this one all the time.
We don't have too many large tunnels that we drive through. I mean, mainly it's like overpasses on the freeway, but like you're not going to sit there and go.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't make any sense to do.
No,
it's not technically a tunnel. It's not enclosed.
It's not. I mean, I know of 2 tunnels that are enclosed at least in Phoenix. And one of them is ridiculously long when you're caught in rush hour traffic. There's no way you can do that one.
Not safely.
No, and, it's just one of those things where even when we were kids, like when we would drive down to visit family, in other states and things like that, anytime we'd go through a tunnel or, under a really long overpass, we'd be holding our breaths. I don't know if it was just something that we were just like, oh, let's see who can hold their breath the longest kind of thing or what. But apparently there's some form of superstition with it that...
It's superstitious. You just do it. It's kind of like, and this was always one I didn't really think about until just now, where you always kind of put your finger to like a screw or something like that when you're passing under a tunnel too. It's something like that. It's just a weird superstition that you do, kind of almost like a good luck charm to do that. Mm-hmm. Just something weird that you just did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how that is. That's how most superstitions are, though. They're just weird things that you kind of just do.
Yeah, it's just kind of like an innate thing where you're just like, oh, this is what I do now.
Exactly.
I don't know, like the salt thing. I don't know why I do it. I don't know where I picked it up from. It's just something that I do.
Yeah, I mean, you grow up knowing these things, and you just kind of do them.
Maybe I learned it from Hocus Pocus.
I know I learned it from Sleepy Hollow. Because there's the point where he spills the salt and he just pinches it over the shoulder. So the next one is one I don't believe in whatsoever. I really don't. Don't step on a crack, you're going to break your mom's back. I don't know if that's just a clever rhyme that somebody came up with, but it's a superstition. And I am kind of OCD, and that's why I avoid cracks a lot of the time. I'll be kind of stepping, like go out of my way to miss a crack or something like that, but it's never anything kind of like, oh, don't step on a crack and you're going to break your mom's back. I don't believe that. I think that's, like I said, something you just said as a kid to kind of, oh, step on a crack. I know you disagree with this. Why do you disagree with this?
I accidentally tripped over a crack a couple months ago, and then the next day my mom herniated a disc in her back.
I think that's coincidental. There's a lot of cracks in this world.
Especially where we live. It's very dry, and we don't get a lot of rain, so all of our asphalt is broken, all of our concrete is broken, so it's really hard to miss cracks. And I don't, like you said, I don't know if it's coincidence or if it is what happened, but I have felt like a complete monster every time I see her and she talks about how her back's bothering her.
I think you're fine.
I know. I'm just
saying.
I'm just crazy. So the next one is my absolute favorite.
Lucky number 13.
It is my lucky number.
There you go.
It's my favorite number. It is the best number of all numbers because it's spooky.
Just the number 13 and the bad luck that supposedly surrounds the number 13.
I mean, you go to any high-rise building and you go into the elevator and the building will literally go from floor 12 to floor 14 because so many people are that afraid of the number 13.
Yeah.
So every single time that you go into a high-rise building and say there's 85 floors, technically there's only, like the elevator will say 86, but there's technically only 85 because it goes from 12 to 14 because people don't want to believe that there's a 13th floor in that building.
I don't know. I see no kind of real thing around that, and it kind of gets into a lot of how I feel superstitions kind of come about. They're very biblically based. Like the salt over your shoulder, I believe that has to do with Lot's wife and kind of Sodom and Gomorrah, all that stuff. The thing with 13, how there are only 12 apostles, so the number right after that must be unlucky. Just kind of things like that is really where I feel a lot of our superstitions come from, is going to be the church. And I find that fascinating, just because there's always kind of that conflict between kind of the spookier things and a lot of biblical things. I mean, obviously, All Saints Day, Halloween, all that kind of business and things like that, moving certain calendar days to kind of combat paganism and things like that. I always feel like it's so fascinating just how intertwined those two things really are. And I feel that that's where number 13 comes from. Like I was saying with how there's only 12 apostles. There's not 13, regardless of if dogma says there's 13. There's only 12.
Chris Rock's not an apostle?
He's not. Yeah, and to kind of not make the list unlucky, we did pick one of our own kind of superstitions from around the world that we thought was kind of interesting. You want to share yours first?
Sure. So apparently in Turkey, it is bad luck to drink any water that has moonlight touching it. I personally am under the belief that it turns you into a werewolf, and that's why they don't like it. Zach thinks that that's crazy.
Just a little bit.
But moon water.
Moon water. So mine is one that I feel very strongly about. I don't know if it's a superstition per se, at least not for me, but it's something I really think is just common sense. In the Czech Republic, they believe that it's bad luck to mix beers. By that they mean once you're done with a beer, don't mix it with another type of beer in the same glass. I truly believe that. Once I'm done drinking an IPA, I'm not going to be like, let me pour a stout into that same exact glass. That's just gross, and that's bad luck. And I truly do believe that. So out of this list, which ones would you say are the ones you probably believe the most? Top one you believe the most?
The one that I practice the most, or one that I believe
One
the
you
most?
believe the most. You can do both. One you practice the most and one you believe the most.
One I practice the most would definitely be the salt. But the one I believe the most, honestly, after all of this, would probably be whistling indoors. That one freaks me out because, I mean, there are so many things that you can do and not even realize it, that you're inviting a ghost or some type of spirit or something into your world. And that's why I don't mess with certain things, because I don't want to even... That's another video for another time.
Potentially.
But, I mean, to me, that's just something that scares me. And it's so fascinating that something that simple can cause so much mayhem.
I get it.
What about you?
The one that I would say that I probably believe the most is really the one with the pennies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know why. That one is so ingrained in my brain that it is bad luck to pick up a penny if it's tails.
I mean, look at Grease.
Yeah, exactly. That was bad luck. Dude wiped out, and Danny had to complete the race for him. So I don't know if that's where I got it, but pennies. I don't pick them up if they're tails. But the one that I guess I practice the most really would be the thumbs covering in the graveyard.
Which is so interesting because I've never seen you do that. But
I
then
do
again,
it all the time.
You're always driving.
Yeah, it's like you never kind of look over and like see me at 10 and 2, just like latched in there.
That, and I'm also kind of trying to focus on myself and like, you know, trying to do all that.
Your own superstitions.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think that'll kind of do it for this list of our favorite superstitions.
Definitely leave a comment down below and let us know what your favorite superstition is from the list, and if there's one that you practice that you think we should have added. Alright,
so it definitely is an interesting list to kind of go through and see all the ones throughout the world. A lot of them are kind of nonsense, but some of them are kind of terrifying.
And it was really hard for us to come up with only 15.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have done multiple videos about, you know, each country and what their, you know, most intense ones are, but these are the ones that are not only ones that we know of and practice all the time, but ones that are the most popular across the world.
Yeah, so don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, all that good stuff. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscription thing down there. And there's a notification bell down there somewhere as well, so you can see the next time we upload a video.
I mean...
Why not?
Because we're awesome. That's why.
That's why not to do it? Because we're awesome, that's why not?
I said why.
And I said why not? I said why not?
Why not take a crazy chance?
Don't.
Why not do a crazy dance?
If you lose a moment, you can lose a lot.
So why not? Why not?
Oh. I think that's definitely going to do it. All right, for the Midnight Jamboree, I'm Zach.
And I'm Sydney.
Bye,
guys.